Beers. My name is Matt. We do all kinds of fun, fantastical beer stuffs. But kind of excited about this one. Little lasting brass Lune up in his piece. This comes courtesy of my boy Steven. This is a smoked maple lager. Yeah, you know we love the smoked beers here. We're fans. And Steven knows that, so he was more than up for the task to send one off. Lasting Brass. Have I had anything from these guys yet, Steven? I don't remember. Maybe a mystery beer, but I don't think I've actually reviewed anything on our channel. It says things should last. Let's see. Smoked maple lager, 5.2%. We got a little bit of story time over here. Very, very hard to read. Thin font. A Connecticut twist on a traditional German Rauchbier. We use our base traditional German Rauchbier recipe with the addition of Connecticut grade A maple syrup, giving an amber lager subtle hints of smoke and maple. The use of high quality European smoke malt and local maple syrup gives the beer a beautifully complexity of flavors and aromatics. So they're from Oakville, Connecticut. No date on this can as far as I can tell. Let's dive into this sucker. NFL Sunday, championship weekend. I am doing painting in the old shed. It is halftime of the AFC game. So let's see what's what. Label-wise, I dig it. You know, anytime you give me like honeycomb pattern, even though we're talking about a maple beer right here, a little bit of honeycomb pattern on this sucker, I am going to be a fan. Font's cool too. Anyway, beer-wise, that looks the part of a dark little smoky. Let me adjust this little lamp here. Give you guys a little bit of, oh, Jesus Christ, we don't have to do that. Yeah, anyway, I tried to make the light better, but I screwed it up. Yeah, dark. Looks like a porter almost. You know, malted malt ball colored head. Let's give it a twirl. Give it a nose. Yeah, buddy, that's Schlenkerler smoke. That's like fatty, kielbasi, bologna smoke. I know a lot of breweries, they go a bunch of different directions when it comes to like smoke beers. You know, a little bit of peatiness here, a little bit of kind of hickory there, stuff like that. But when you talk about some of the OG classics, i.e. Schlenkerler, stuff like that, it tends to have this kind of Polish fatty meat kind of smoke to it, which is really what kind of gets my kind of heart aflutter, and that's definitely what we have going on here. There is a sweetness to this too that I think is a little bit bigger than what you get from just the plain kind of malt bill of this beer. So that's probably that maple in play here. It doesn't really come off that explosive on the nose, but you tell there's something a bit sweeter in here. And there's a nice richness to the malt too. It comes off a little bit more, there's a bit more depth to it than just a plain kind of just, okay, we're adding a little bit of dark malts and a little bit of maple in here. There's a little bit of kind of richness to it, almost erring towards the side of like a little coffee kind of vibes to it, but it smells big, bold, bodacious. A lot of bees. Let's just dive in. Cheers, y'all. That's delicious. That is effing delicious. It's like a chocolate bock with smoke. Beautiful, rich, like porter, doppelbock, like mouthfeel. Sultry, silky. Just this kind of just awesome level of softness. There's this big, huge chocolate component to this. I'm really, really surprised this is just malt-based and there's no actual added chocolate to it. Maybe there's something about the maple that's kind of like influencing my brain to think it's like a chocolate thing when it's really the maple kind of showing that. But it has this kind of really rich, very much kind of the same Adam's chocolate bar kind of vibe going on here. That smoke portion of the show, again, is that Schlenkerler level kind of bologna fatty kind of thing going on. But since you get that sweet portion of the show from that chocolatiness and i.e. the maple portion, it comes off as a really cool kind of like elevated meat dish kind of thing that you would get from like a high-end restaurant. A lot of times they'll play with like sweet elements with like savory elements when you go to like fancy pants restaurants and stuff like that. And that's kind of how this beer kind of plays. It has this very much kind of sweet, savory kind of interplay between both ends of the spectrum. It's tasty. Tasty. Man, that mouthfeel's killer. Killer. Absolutely killer. This is one of the best smoked beers I've had. I'm going to actually pump the brakes on that. I'm going to rewind it. It's one of the better beers I've had as of late. It's one of the best smoked beers. I think with the boldness and the richness of that chocolate and the mouthfeel, I think it just ends up being a fantastically tasty beer. That happens to be a smoked beer as opposed to one of the better smoked beers I've had as of late. Maybe that's kind of like a little bit too kind of pinpointy or too kind of compartmentalizing the beer. It's tasty, it's fun. It's not going to be confused with not being a smoky beer, but the smoke portion of the show, at least on the taste, because the nose is a little bit bolder, but at least on the taste, it comes off a little bit less kind of leading actor. You know, it's a little bit second or third, supporting maybe in a third tier kind of actor on it. And just supports this absolutely epic, rich, delicious kind of chocolatey, porter-bach-y kind of thing that ends up being one of the better versions of that kind of beer I've had as of late. Absolutely delicious. One of my favorite beers I've had as of late, and just absolutely just tasty stuff. You know, like it's been weird, like sitting out here. Actually, it's not that weird. I'm sitting out here doing a bunch of painting. This is actually the only wall that is kind of not painted yet. It's all going to be that kind of dark gray pewter. That I'm like sitting out here and I'm drinking, High Life, a little lager, sugars. And I didn't really think of drinking something like this. Not high in ABV, but something rich and darker. And it's hitting the spot, ultimately hitting the spot and being one of the tastier beers I've had, not just today, but in recent memory. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, Stephen, for shipping this off. I am absolutely 100% gaga for this beer. Man, that mouth feels so good. Yeah, anyway, Lune, Lasting Brass, F yeah. Absolutely tasty beer. Definitely smoky worthy, but in general, just a fantastic beer nonetheless. Just happens to be, a smoked beer. It would be, if you drop the smoke out of this, it'd still be a great beer. Yeah, let's talk about it. Lasting Brass. Have any of y'all had them? Steven, I know you've had them, obviously, because you sent them. What are your thoughts about this beer? What are your thoughts about the brewery? Have you been to the brewery? Not just Steven, but everybody else. Have you been to the brewery? Have you had this beer? Have you had any of their other beers? I would like to know down there. How much you paid too? Value and availability is always a fun thing here. And just say, let's talk. Let's talk about it. Let's chat down in the comments below. So hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of smoky goodness. I'll see you next time. Cheers, y'all.